welcome to It Happened on the Job. This is episode 11. My name is Mike Fisher. With me, as always, is Brian Summers.
How's it going?
We are coming to you still in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic.
Forever and ever.
Maintaining social distance.
Right?
Yeah. It's about 6 feet. With us today, we got Josh Claus. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Josh, your company, and what you guys do.
Right on. Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to chat with you a little bit. Claus Construction was established back in 1991 by my uncle. He was a Vietnam vet coming in out of war in the 80s with 2 Purple Hearts, so I appreciate him very much.
Wow, that's awesome.
He started working for Hilti, actually, as a salesman for quite a few years, and he actually broke records. He's very, very talented in sales. And started learning a lot of trades in the concrete cutting business and all that kind of stuff. So he figured, he was smart enough to go ahead and start his own little thing. So he did so. He started a concrete cutting business and a demolition business with a couple of partners of his. That it actually was very successful for a while. Then it kind of went south with the partner and all that kind of stuff. So long story short, I won't get into that, but he went and left in 1991 and started his own thing called Claus Construction. We're actually demolition contractors that we specialize in demolition and environmental remediation. But my uncle thought it was wise to keep the construction word in there to be diversified. As we also do earthwork as well as, we have our general engineering license, our B license. We can build, we can do anything. So the whole thing behind that was basically being diversified, not only being diversified, but to understand our clients as we're doing demolition, environmental remediation. We actually know all the trades. Coming into the whole scene of things, we kind of help with our knowledge behind, our background knowledge of building as well, kind of help our general contractors go through the whole entire process as we're the first ones on site. Look, we take off all the hazardous waste, we knock down the buildings, we do some earthwork, and we get the site prepared for building. So that's kind of what separates us from a lot of the competition is our knowledge in the building industry as well. So that's why he kept that word construction, even though we kind of focus on demolition. That's kind of our forte. So that's kind of how Claus Construction got started back in 1991. I grew up. It's extremely hardworking family, blue collar family, the Claus family. My grandpa, my dad's actually a part of the business too. He helped run the field operations when my uncle started the company. He kind of ran the field operations, and my uncle ran the office and all the behind the scenes stuff. So that all being said, they kind of learn at a very young age how to survive because my grandma actually passed away of cancer when my dad was 6 years old, and she left behind 7 kids.
Oh, man.
So my grandpa was a hardworking guy, welder, had 3 different jobs. He was never home to raise them, so they were kind of self-sufficient. They raised themselves, so they knew how to work and survive. So that's kind of the Claus family background. Kind of like a family with no excuses. You just got to grind it out, and that's just kind of how it was kind of led down to me and my brother, my cousins, and there was actually 8 of us with the family business. And let me tell you something about family businesses.
I can imagine that we all know where this story is going, right?
Oh my goodness! You know what? It's incredible how important family is, right? And I'm grateful for my family, but it's a whole nother level of difficulty. Everybody seems to think that we get handed the silver spoon the next generation, because it's like it's already been established. And I never got paid more than the person next to me. I was the first one on site, the last one to leave when I was a kid. It was a grind. There was no favoritism in this family whatsoever. Matter of fact, I'm the only one left. The other 8 left. So it was it's that kind of grind. Yeah, my dad's still around, but and he's still running the field for me, and it's been quite a ride. Let me just put it that way. It's been quite a challenge, but we love it. One thing about family, the company, we're running about 100 to 150 employees, and if you're part of this company, it's family based, and you're part of the family. That's what we really stand by. So it's been awesome, man.
So I imagine it sounds like you got started pretty early. Probably coming out of high school or college or
before that.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a choice, to be honest with you.
We won't tell the paperboard, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, at 15 years old, my uncle brought me into the office, and my dad forced me to go in the office at 15 and sat me down for my birthday. I kid you not. They put their arm around me. There was no gift. The gift was a pep
The gift
talk.
was a job, right?
Yeah, the gift was a pep talk. You need to go see your high school counselor and get your worker's permit back in the day. So
That's funny.
literally, I went that day on my birthday. No, it wasn't my birthday. It was, I'm sorry, it was a couple months after my birthday, but went to the high school counselor's office and got my worker's permit so I could work full time for the company. But beforehand, you know, I was grinding. I grew up East County, San Diego. My dad was building a house. You know, it was just, we're always dirty, man. It was just no partying for us, man. It was just, you're not going to go party with your friends. You're working. You have to work. You know that, right? So it's like, that was just our family. So
did you
yeah,
always,
my birthday,
did you always want to get to where you're at now, or is it something that just kind of developed over time, or where did you see yourself?
That's a great question. You know, there's two answers to that.
Especially with so many siblings too, right? I mean, I would imagine if they would have
it was a grind, man. So my older cousins, Jeff and Danny, extremely talented individuals. They just had a different calling in their lives, right? So they had a lot of support from their dad to go to college, and one of my cousins got a scholarship in football. So that was, he just had a different path. He's actually now the dean of being an athletic dean over at Saddleback College. So he's killing it. Yeah, and my oldest cousin Jeff, very talented individual. He's one of the project managers for a company that assists Boeing. I mean, they're very talented. And my brother took off. You know, had a little fallout with my uncle, but that's okay. He's running his own pool business in Georgia. So I mean, so it's okay. You know, back in the day, we had a sit down because my cousins kind of had, which is my uncle's sons at the time. They kind of had the front line of taking over the business, the whole idea of it, right? But it was very clear that they had a different path and they were going down. So my uncle kind of met with my dad and I and my brother about taking over the company at a very young age. I was about 17 years old of the idea of taking it over, right? And we kind of set a plan up, and my brother was supposed to take over the office side of things, and I was going to run the field like my dad did. Well, that didn't all work out, but I stuck with it. A few years went down the line. We were kind of, you know, I was a young buck. I was running my first implosion job in San Diego at 19 years old. You know, I mean, it was a big deal. It's actually made way for the Petco Park. We're actually in the Hall of Fame at the Padres Stadium because of that. It's pretty cool. The building, the San Diego Gas and Electric building that we imploded was at home plate today. Home plate is where that building was today.
Okay.
And we have this little memorial thing at Petco Park. It's pretty cool. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up is I was kind of forced at a young age to kind of run jobs out in the field, and I learned quick. I didn't have a choice. So I kind of, you know, very quickly moved up the ladder from hand picking steel out of concrete piles and doing separation as a laborer to moving up as an operator for years, knocking down buildings myself, to running projects. I mean, just kind of doing it all. And then 2004 came along, and I was in this little punk rock band, you know, on my free time. That was my hobby, and I used to play a lot of shows out in Vegas. And being an entrepreneur kind of minded kid, you know, as the bandmates were hanging out with the roadies, I was out there hanging out the strip, talking to all the general contractors about opportunity and demolition out here. So, you know, I brought back that information of how about so much opportunity out here in Vegas. And my uncle laughed at me thinking I was a stupid kid. I don't know what I'm talking about. At the same time, he didn't want me to leave the field. You know, I was doing a pretty dang good job for him out in the field, and family members were leaving. So it's like he didn't really want me to kind of pursue that direction. Yeah. So, I mean, I could talk for days, guys. You could tell me to stop.
No, you're great. Honestly, this makes it a lot easier for us, and this makes for a lot, but nobody wants to listen to us talk, right? I mean, we're on every episode. It's more fun to listen to the people we bring on. It's more fascinating. Man. This is awesome.
Right on, man. Yeah. So
so you guys started in Vegas. What? How long after that did it take you to guys actually get going in Vegas?
It was in 2004. So let me go back. I'm sorry. It was years before 2004 because we got established in 2004. So when I was out here just kind of messing around with my boys, we just, you know, like I said, I went down to the strip, talked to the general contractors, and kind of brought back some information to my uncle. He kind of chuckled at me, you know. And then I I got a phone call from my uncle years later, you know, as we're still working and grinding, doing what we do best. And he's like, "Hey, we have an opportunity in Vegas." And I'm like, "What?" What? You know? And
we
anyway,
could have had a lot more.
yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you guys, it's really, the market here in Vegas is no joke. It's really tough to get in because it's a real small. It's a very unique market, right? It's very relationship bound. Everybody knows each other here. I mean, we know all the topics.
It's a lot like the old Vegas, right? Everybody says the old Vegas is kind of gone with the good old boys and the.
That's all nonsense.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, all those businesses are all connected, and they all know somebody. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had a client out there for a little bit that did some structural steel, and he said a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the nonsense is gone, you know, but there's still that good old boy, you know, you take care of me, I'll take care of you kind of a thing. And it's legit, you know, and it's great. You know, we were able to capitalize on relationship out here. And so our first job out here, and it was a very unique opportunity. We had to take full advantage of it. And, you know, it worked out well for us. So he wanted me to come run the job. It was actually for Steve Wynn out here, the old Desert Inn where the Wynn Tower stands today.
Yeah.
The Encore Tower stands today. We got the Desert Inn implosion project. And I kid you not, guys, when I showed up to this building back in 2004, I think he just got done putting, I don't even want to put a dollar amount, but it was millions of dollars of renovating it for his office to build the Wynn Hotel right next door. And he just got done, I think, 3 years prior to that, because he was just in there for 3 years. And he's an incredible man. This guy his brain is insane. He's very intelligent, very gifted, very talented, and there's no shortcuts with him, man. And when it comes to building and his brand, man, there's no shortcuts. And it was an absolute pleasure working for him and his organization. But anyway, this building was so beautiful. And because we're
up, huh?
Yeah, and we're in demolition, so we're usually wrecking old school stuff, right? Stuff that's really run down. And anyway, but the money out here in Vegas is no joke, man. So we're out here, very tight schedule, and I knew if I could perform well, and I got the golden letter. I call it the golden letter. If I could get a letter from Steve Wynn, you know, a recommendation letter from Steve Wynn, I got the ticket. I got the key to the valley, right? And long story short, we got that letter. And man, you know, this was one of those things where it's like, how do I separate myself from the competition? And I just went straight to him and I said, "Look, Mr. Wynn," and to his right-hand man, I said, "You know, my phone's on 24/7. This is the difference. Where the competitors will shut their phones off at 5 o'clock. You can call me anytime. We'll get this thing done." Boy, did they test that. I mean, they tested that on a daily basis. I got a phone call at 1 a.m. a couple times, and I ran down there, and it was just, you know, there's so many stories I could tell you guys. It was just an amazing experience. I appreciate that guy, and I appreciate the organization. They took care of us. We took care of them. And then the rest is history. I challenged my uncle to move my family out here and let me just start a division. He laughed at me because he didn't want me out of the field because I was working out well for him out in the field, you know?
Right.
And one of the downfalls to what we do is we travel a lot away from our families because we go where the work's at, you know? We're a West Coast-based company, but we go nationwide if we have to. We do a lot of government work. So my guys are traveling, right? They're traveling away from their families. And that's something I kind of wanted to put brakes on a little bit for my family, give them a break, you know, and I saw that opportunity out in Vegas, and the rest is history. We just been killing it ever since, man. So it's been a good run out here.
That's crazy. So you said you guys are up to like 150 employees?
Yeah, it's on an average. It's all based on backlog, right? We kind of average between 100 and 150. We've been up to close to 200 at times. So yeah, it all depends on the backlog.
Yeah, one thing that we've kind of touched on with most of our guests here is just the labor shortage and trying to find employees. And I have to imagine, I mean, somebody who's trying to look for a guy to hang drywall or paint a wall or you know, put up some, you know, frame a house or something, that might be a little bit easy. I have to imagine what you guys are looking for is probably a little bit more skilled or specialized or technical. in employees.
Yeah.
Are you guys finding that to be the case, or how is that working out for you guys?
Yeah, I appreciate you recognizing the difficulty of that, because a lot of people think demolition's easy, right?
Yeah, just throw a stick of dynamite in there and you're good, right?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's a great point. So how we deal with that is, first and foremost, I focus a lot on human capital. So I really focus on our guys, right? And I focus on their needs. I focus on what works best for the company as a general. And to me, that's paying attention to my people. And so that being said, we don't have a lot of turnover when it comes to, I have guys that have been working for me for 20 to 25 years. It's been great. On the labor side, they kind of come and go a little bit, but so what we do, and it's a lot of word of mouth, people really enjoy working for Claus. And you still have people that come and go, but you find them coming back, So the labor shortage, it's definitely real. It's definitely a challenge at times, but we always get through it, man. It's, when people find out that we have a big project, people start knocking on the door, and, so we get through it. Absolutely.
And are you guys training a lot in-house? Are you guys finding that you're able to hire guys with some experience, or?
There's a lot of training in-house, to be honest. So the hard thing about it is like, being out of the field, I don't have that one-on-one anymore with my guys in the field like I used to now that I'm running the show. So what I try to do is I really focus on my management. I try to make sure that they understand the importance of culture. They understand the importance of training and making sure these guys, understand what they're doing, because what we do is dangerous. It's high risk. So, I focus on management and they pass it on down. We have a lot of training. Our guys are certified. They're cross-trained. They're cross-trained in general labor, to asbestos removal, to lead removal. They're all certified. So yeah, the training's nonstop throughout the years.
What does it take? This is kind of just off topic a little bit, just more out of my own curiosity. But what does it take from a high level overview? Because I'm sure you could probably go into detail, and we could be here for 3 hours talking about
Sure.
the prep time. But like, what does it take from you walk into a building, as far, inspections, or just to get it set up to push that button and watch it fall?
I get this question a lot, and it's hard to answer it because it all depends on the size of the structure, what type of structure, what kind of components we're dealing with. Are we dealing with concrete? We dealing with steel? We dealing with bolt? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always like to the Frontier implosion, the hotel that we did here in Las Vegas. It's kind of an average sized building. It took us a couple months to prep it. What we do is basically we gut out the whole entire building to where the structure actually looks like a parking garage.
Right.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Are you guys doing a lot of that work, or your employees doing that work, or do you guys sub guys out to pull all that stuff out?
Oh, we do 95% of all the work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The thing that we do sub out is the engineering of the implosion. We work with Controlled Demolition Incorporated, CDI. They're like family to us. They're a family-based business as well, based out of Maryland. Absolutely incredible people. We don't trust anybody else to work with. So they come in, they do the engineering. They tell us where to drill. They help drill. They come load, push the button, and we do all the cleanup. We do all the prep, getting the building ready. We do all the cleanup, and we do all the environmental remediation before we even start the demolition.
Right.
So, yeah, we do it all.
Wow.
Yep.
So you don't get to push the button then, huh?
So I get to have fun sometimes.
I feel like that's
a lot of our
rewarding part of the job, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, a lot of our clients like to push the button, so we have they think they're pushing the button, but it's actually a decoy.
Yeah. Right. I can't imagine that.
Why isn't it working?
I can't. Coming from the insurance guys, right? I can't imagine the liability behind. Yeah, we're just going to give this guy the button to push. Are you guys okay with that?
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. So, yeah, we have a plunger out there. It looks like it's all connected, but we're in the corner actually controlling the whole thing. So.
Yeah, and I can't. What is it? 2020, right? It's not really a plunger anymore, right? So
no,
that's fun though. That's cool. So what's the biggest one you guys have done? Just again, more for fun and curiosity.
We did the Mapes Hotel in Reno. That was a pretty large one. That's a pretty historical building. If you go on our website or our YouTube channel, you can see all the implosions that we've done. We've done a lot of Department of Energy smokestacks, some industrial things. I mean, we've done a lot of shots. It's across the board. We've been, there's a lot of cell boxes, a lot of components that we've done across the Department of Energy that aren't really huge structures, but thick, challenging structures. So there's structures out there that I'm pretty sure that we've covered all the bases across the board. So
I've actually seen only one in my entire life, and it was actually when I was living out in Texas, and they knocked down the old Cowboy Stadium before they started putting the new one up, and that one was
pretty cool.
That was insane to watch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you have the knowledge firsthand. It's a lot different in person, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, and I mean, obviously you had to stand so far back, so you don't really get the full force of it, but
that's right.
It's something different out there for sure.
Right.
So what does the structure of your office look like? How many? I mean, you're running the show. It sounds like from the Vegas side. Do you have somebody running the show in California, or do you guys from what does your process look like?
Yeah, so basically, I'm kind of running the show from Vegas, both offices.
Yeah, okay.
Again, via Zoom, and appreciate you guys at freeconferencecall.com. You guys rock and roll. So anyway, my management is, I kind of have everybody isolated at home right now for the most part. They might come in the office once in a while to grab some plans or whatever they need to do. But it's, my accounting's still there. My administration's still there, kind of holding down the fort. But yeah, we're getting through this, man. It's been challenging. There's no doubt about it. The big thing for us has been our environmental remediation division, which requires the N95s,
suits and all that stuff.
The half face, all that stuff. The Tyvek suits, the PPE that's required for us to do our business. Although I'm a huge support of what's going on and doing our part on the quarantine, and all the materials go to the government to help the first responders and all that, and huge support of that. It's definitely took it a tamper on our division there on bidding future projects until that stuff comes.
Is it just not knowing that you're going to have the right equipment to be able to do that? Is that?
That's 100% correct. Yeah. So I mean, we do have a little bit of reserve to keep our guys going with our current backlog. It's just really, we have to be very careful about what we're bidding, because once you're under contract, that doesn't go away.
Backing out,
yeah.
Are your current jobs still working? Have you seen anything shut down on current?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And thank goodness we're essential. We're considered essential, but then again, there's a lot of challenges that come with that. We do have 4 contracts that have been suspended in the Department of Energy up in Lannel, Lawrence Livermore. I do believe we're going to start kicking that back up next week or the next 2 weeks.
That's good.
But other than that, we're good to go. The only concern that we're having is, we haven't seen payment yet. I think
you and everybody else there, right?
Yeah. I think there's concern there, right? People are kind of holding on to their funds right now because of the unknown, not knowing where this thing is going. But fortunately for us, a lot of our work's government-based, which is secured funds, and so yeah, we're very fortunate. But production's gone down too. Let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, we have all the proper protocols to keep our guys healthy and safe from the CDC and OSHA. People are getting their temperatures taken before they even enter the site. Mm-hmm. Social distancing, of course, is in place, washing of the hands, but we're also decontaminating and disinfecting equipment 3 to 4 times a day around the job sites. This all adds up. Again, it's important that we do that, but it's definitely taken a toll on our current contracts that you didn't foresee that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
How is it in terms of the culture of just the people that are working for you? Is there a level of concern in terms of that lack of productivity and what they're experiencing? And
yeah, I love my people. They're rock stars to me, man. These guys and women that work for me, they're so optimistic and so appreciative of just having a job right now, and they're just, all of them have such a go get 'em attitude. They don't allow the lack of production to affect, because they're working right now to find ways to step it up. Even during these times, that's my people. It's just
that grind mentality, huh?
Yeah, that's class construction. Yeah, that's just class construction for you, and that's what I appreciate about us so much. So, but yeah, there, to answer your question direct, yeah, there was, there's of course concern there, but we don't stop at that concern. We move and we move forward. We find ways to accommodate and keep our clients happy and make sure that we're still coming out profitable.
Right. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So outside of this, obviously this is something that everybody's kind of dealing with right now and having to kind of navigate and jump through hoops to get through. But outside of this, just on a daily basis, what are some of the objections or hurdles you guys have to clear on a daily basis that kind of challenge you guys to as you're moving along?
As far as the COVID-19 or just in general?
No, outside of that. Just in general.
Oh, it's just a continuation of dealing with, I appreciate competition. Competition's great. I think it's important to have competition. The thing that kind of rubs the good competition and I a little bit is the mom and pop shops that have no idea what they're doing. They come in, and it's like it's exactly what from a couple previous podcasts that you guys have had and I've listened to. It's the same thing. It's frustration. They take work and they can't last 6 months because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just took work away from the good people that know exactly what they're doing, that know how to actually take care of your client. And those are difficult things, to deal with. That and getting paid. Getting paid is the main thing, It's, I have to answer, I do own the company 100%, but I still have people I answer to, and that's that's the bonding company, that's the bank, right?
Yeah.
Our line of credit's going up, because we're waiting to get paid. There's, contingencies and what we got to do and what we have to accomplish to keep these guys happy. And, it rolls downhill. So if we're not getting paid on time, it's a difficult thing, especially for my industry, because we're a labor force, right? There's a lot of out-of-pocket expense right away. I mean, my payroll could be $500,000 a month very easily.
Before you even get paid on a job too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a labor force. But then there's contingencies and contracts that there's 10%, 5% retentions being held. Correct.
Yeah.
But that's on a general construction project. The reason why retention is being held is because there's warranties in place and all that for the new equipment coming in.
Right.
But I'm a labor service. I don't install. I take everything away. But I'm still under those same guidelines.
Same contracts, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see that money until the end of the whole entire I could wait a year or 2 years even. It depends on when the building's actually built until I see that money. That 5% to 10% that comes.
That's crazy.
In. Right?
I got to imagine that level of frustration is even higher just because what you do is so specialized, right? I imagine it's
very frustrating.
Hard to look at somebody you just lost a contract to and know that, especially when you're blowing up a building, like there's no room for error on this thing, right? I mean,
there's zero room for error. We're very high risk on what we do, and it's extremely frustrating when you don't get paid for what you do until years in. And you know what? There's some great clients out there that understand our situation and do pay us on time a little bit quicker than others because of that. But a lot of them stick to the contract, and because it's contract verbiage that retention doesn't come in until the project's done.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, we're the first ones on site, so we have to wait for a building to get built.
The whole thing to finish. Crazy.
Right.
That could be a long wait.
But construction is really efficient. Though, so those things usually come in way ahead of deadline, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Right.
You're never waiting for any longer than you thought you'd be waiting, right? Yeah.
Exactly correct. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
So the other difficult. You go ahead.
No, yeah, go. You're good.
I was just trying to answer your question again. The other difficult part is dealing with competition. We're very straightforward. A lot of integrity in my company. I won't waver from principle. Where there's a lot of ways to cut corners here in our industry, right?
Well, we do the insurance side. We see it all. Some guys will.
Yeah. So and you
we
know
do
what?
this, that, and the other, and then you realize 6 months into the policy, they say, "Oh, we're doing this too." Where did that come from?
Yeah. So you know what? It's in every industry. It's not just mine.
Oh, for sure.
But my new guys, my new talent that comes in, they get a little frustrated at me. They're like, "Do you realize what your competition's doing?" I said, "I know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
We don't do it here." You know what I mean? So, God's been good to us. We're faithful. He's been faithful through it all, and we haven't needed to waver. So that's something else we bring to the table with our clients. They know we're legit. They know we have integrity. We do things right. So
well, that's the reason why you've been around for so long too, right? I mean, some of those other companies don't last very long, unfortunately.
Exactly.
How often when some of your clients go the other direction with maybe another one of your competition, how long does it take before they eventually come back to you? Are there any, like, do you have any stories at hand that
Sure.
have caused them to either fire them
or take over
on the
in
next
middle of
project bring you back?
100%. It happens all the time. But there's also, it happens to where they never come back because depends on the client. If they're a snake just like they are, right?
Yeah.
So if they're getting kickbacks or whatever's going on behind the scenes, I can't control that. I won't be a part of it. But for the most part, to answer your question, they come back all the time. And that's what I kind of encourage my team at. Just be patient. You just watch. Yeah. Give it a year. Give it 2 years. They'll come back. And sure enough, they come back. And there's clients that won't use anybody else but us because of our integrity and because of what we do and how we're personable with everybody. And our phones are on 24/7. We don't mess around. We're very, very prideful in what we do. We have a lot of pride in our name, and we have a lot of pride in what we're capable of doing. And we make sure the client is comfortable, not only now but in the future on using Clause Construction.
Yeah. Well, I got to imagine too, if you're telling them either a certain timeline, exactly what you're going to do, and you stick to that, just like, in terms of integrity and character, that's very attractive. And eventually that will bend towards your favor, whether it's somebody that's, gone away from you in terms of client, they come back, you just know how long that process is, and that you can trust them when they tell you that. When you guys tell them that this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how long it's going to take, and this is what it's going to cost, right?
100%. And you're nailing it, but it's the bottom line. It works. Why? Because it's been proven.
Yeah.
They always come back. And there's no reason to wait. The problem is, I think people get tempted to do it because it's tough out there.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make sure they make all the money now because they don't know what tomorrow holds. Right. But that's fear based. So we don't have that at Clause Construction. It's the thing is too is money's not everything to me, man, and that's the bottom line. It's the people first. The money comes when the people are first. You put the people first, the money will be there.
Yeah.
And plus we have, we're a faith-based company. We don't mess around with the principal part of it, and we move forward, and it's always paid off for us, man.
That's awesome. We appreciate that, man. It's good to know that there are, and I mean most of the people out there are right. It just sucks that sometimes the ones that don't do the right way to do it are the ones that make the news or that you hear about and kind of give it a bad name and stuff. So this is why we're kind of doing this kind of stuff, letting people hear. I can't imagine anybody that acts that way is going to be willing to come onto this podcast. So you know what I mean? That's why we're doing this to highlight the good ones out there that are doing it the right way, and we appreciate you.
Oh man, appreciate that.
So I got to imagine. I mean, that job out at the Wynn was probably one of the coolest you've ever done. I mean, is there anything else that was awesome, or anybody listening that can go to your website and check out as far as some cool implosions, or what was the most fun for you?
This is a cheesy answer, but I got to be honest with you. I really enjoy every one of them. The reason why they're so unique in every way, right?
Different challenges.
But there's definitely been highlights. The Frontier, of course. The Desert Inn, of course. The implosion that we did, the San Diego Hotel down in downtown San Diego. We did the SDG&E. That was such a historical thing to do because of the Petco Stadium there. All the Padres came out. It was. We have stories for days. It's just been. We've been very blessed to do what we're doing, and we meet a lot of people. I don't know. The challenges across the board. It keeps us coming. I mean, it's just. I'm excited what's around the corner, you know what I mean? Because we have so much fun doing what we're doing. Very high stress what we do. You know?
Sure. Yeah. The next challenge,
Yeah, people really don't understand.
Yeah, that one in San Diego is probably one of your tightest jobs too, right? I mean, was there anything that was anything tighter than that?
Yeah, so actually it was extremely tight. Yeah, very challenging project. We're right there on Broadway, downtown San Diego, right across the street from the courthouses and stuff like that. But another one was the Mapes Hotel right on the river there. And then another one was the desert. Actually, we did another shot for Steve Wynn. It was the parking garage that he built. It's so funny. 3 years later, after he built it, we shot it for him. It was literally 12 feet away from the Encore Tower.
12 feet.
12 feet away, and we brought it in. We pulled it away from the building, and we shot it. So, and it was the other side of the structure was Desert Inn Road. And so it was very challenging, but we got it done, man. We pulled that structure away from 12 feet.
So I know you mentioned that you used somebody else as far as the engineering of the implosion, but I mean, I would imagine you probably know a little bit about that. I mean, what is that? I mean, are there computer generated models have to do some surveys and understand the structure that they go through?
Yeah.
Or just someone like, oh, we know how to do this because we've been doing it this long. You drill here, put it here, and push the button. I mean,
it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of engineering. Mark Loazzo and his brother Doug Loazzo that kind of heads up CDI. They're very intelligent individuals, and they have a ton of experience because their dad helped them, years ago. He first started as well. But to kind of answer your question, that how the desert. So we know a lot about structures from the as-built and how it was, built. So a lot of parking garages have what you call post-tension cabling in it.
Right.
So we knew that there's tension so basically the structure's pulling it in on itself. If you release that tension, you're going to bring the outer walls in. So what we do is it's called delay caps. So we shot the center of the structure first. Okay. Right. With delay caps, meaning that the explosives in the center of the structure are going off before the outer explosives on the outer structure. So as we're shooting the center of the structure, we're releasing that tension. Well, we're releasing the center of the structure. So now we release the center, it's pulling the outer structure in, which is completely removing itself from the 12 foot of the other structure that's sitting on the other side. So there's a lot of engineering, a lot of thought through it.
Fascinates me.
So we actually utilize the structure itself because, like Mark Loazzo said, it's gravity that drops the building. We're just kind of nudging.
you just let it go the right way. Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So, I mean, not to put you on the spot and maybe bring up some bad memories, but any of them that have kind of gone sideways or any?
Absolutely not. What are you talking about? No, hey, to be honest with you.
I mean, I can't imagine they've gone too bad, right? Because something that goes that bad, you're probably not in business, right? It's going to, from a
100%
publicity or standpoint, but I mean, it's, that's.
No, this is a truthful answer. We're very, very fortunate that we have not had a serious accident doing that stuff.
That's a testament to the culture and the training and everything else that you guys.
Well, that's what it is. It's again, I give a lot of credit when it comes to implosions. I give a lot of credit to CDI. They're experts at what they do, and they allow us to be a part of it too. I mean, we sit, we plan together as a team. They have seismograph engineers out there making sure that the parties next door aren't worried about the vibrations, and we have stuff to prove to them that look, this didn't damage your building because here's the seismograph. I mean, everything's covered. There's this protocols that they've been doing it for so long, and we've been doing it for so long, and we come together as a team and make sure everything's covered before we push that button.
Wow.
Well, and I got to imagine it's probably it helps that each project is very unique in terms of it keeps you on your toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not
as opposed to going, we've done this a million times. Let's just blow it up in the middle, and then we're good.
100%. Exactly right.
Yeah, so I've got a more of a personal question, not necessarily personal for you, but one of my dad's very good friends was one of the last holdouts at the Desert Inn. And so this is way back in the early 2000s. And I remember he was trying to rally a group of the people that were living there to hold out as long as possible so they can make as much money as possible. So that being said, when did you guys come in on that project? Was it after the holdout was done and they finally purchased everything and then you guys came in, or were you waiting for these guys to be done with their holdout?
That's a good question. I don't really recall that even happening when we showed up. Okay. So I want to say it was after. Yeah. I want to say it was after.
Yeah, I just remember he was telling us, he goes, they want to, because it was right there basically on the strip. And so I remember him saying he didn't know it was Wynn yet, but he had a feeling that it was somebody big because they were gobbling up stuff so fast. And then he got a whiff that it was Steve Wynn, and then that's what caused those few left to try to stay as long as possible.
Yeah, I want to say that actually went down a year or 2 years even before I showed up.
Okay.
Yeah, because Steve Wynn was
so
in
you're
that
not waiting for them to be done, and that's included in the project time. Okay.
No. So the story behind, so when we showed up, Steve Wynn was actually, him and his people were actually in the building as their office, as they're building the Wynn Tower.
Yeah.
I was actually prepping the building while they were in the building for implosion. So I was rocking the building. Like I made so much noise with my crew. He's like, I've had enough. His people called me and said, you're switching the night shift, when I'm not here. So I said, hey, you put us on a tight schedule. So no, so that's what was going on. They were actually in the building when we first started, and we were like, yeah, we're done hearing the hammers and the drilling and all that kind of stuff. So we moved to night shift.
That's crazy. That's so fun, man. Well, we appreciate it. Before we let you go, I'll let you get back to running stuff and blowing stuff up. But before we let you go, why don't you let the people know where they can find you, or any plug, your website, or how to get a hold of you? Or
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, CloshConstruction.com is pretty basic. You can get a hold of us anytime there. Just go ahead and put the info at CloshConstruction.com. If you have any projects coming up or even hiring, I have a hiring tab on there. If you're talented, you're excited about demolition, go ahead and fill that out. I'll take a look at you. And then our YouTube channel, Klosh Construction YouTube channel. Yeah,
definitely. I think I'm heading there to check that out as soon as I.
Sure. We'll post that on
fun watching stuff getting blown up. So, side note, when are we meeting halfway between here and Vegas to go blow stuff up out in the desert?
Hey, this is my guarantee to you both. You guys have front row tickets, VIP. You and your families are going to see our next implosion. How's that?
That's awesome. I'm down.
All right. That sounds good to me.
Right?
Do you guys actually? That's a thing. Like, you guys actually bring out a gun?
Oh yeah, we totally party, man. It's just like we have this like little VIP section. We get you guys front row. Make sure you guys feel it and see it.
That's awesome.
Sounds good.
Well, man, we appreciate the time again. Thanks so much for coming on, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No worries. Have a good day, man. Stay safe.
You too, guys.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.